just here in Italy, in Pisa, and we have got the Leaning Tower right behind us. Fantastico. When the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie, Asamore. Oh, Italy, you have my heart. It was a wonderful place. Florence, Pisa, beautiful. I really enjoyed being there. You could not move for a little bit of architecture, a lot of architecture, great arts, statues, sculpture, fountain, just wonderful food, great company, beautiful wine. The sun was shining. It was just the time of my life, and I'm going to try and get some of this down on canvas. Okay, I came back really inspired. So what we've got here, we have got an 18 by 24 inch primed and pre-stretched canvas, as always. The top 2/3 we've coated in a very thin layer of linseed oil and titanium white, but you use any thin medium that you want, thin and medium that you would like to use. Down here is nice and dry for the moment. Okay, we're going to paint a little bit of a different sky than what I saw actually at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is just a bell tower for the big church and some other really fantastic buildings. But we're going to put the tower around about there, just off centre, which means we're going to have a big blue sky. So we don't want a big blue sky, we want a little bit of something going on. So we'll try and put a few little bits and pieces up in the sky as well. All right, before I start painting on the canvas, please like the video and subscribe if you're not done so already. Let's dive into some paint. Pre-mixing your paint is a really good idea before you start a composition. Then you can have a little bit of a test, see what it looks like and if it's right or wrong. These are oil paints, and I've taken some blues, and this is Windsor blue, and I think it's cobalt blue and ultramarine blue, and I've just put that a couple of bits into a lot of white. Okay, so I've got a darker shade and a lighter shade just there, just for the basic sky colour. I've moved around a little bit, so we've got a little bit of grey and a purpley grey there as well. These are going to be shadows for the clouds that we're going to put up there. We want a little bit of yellow sun in the composition as well. I'm going to try to. So we've got a little bit of yellows there. So we've got ochre and we've got chrome yellow into some white. Some of that into some red as well, and a little bit less white, so we've got a bit more of a shade of that going on there as well. All right, or a tint of that, shall we say. So let's crack on with this. So I'm just going to take some of this, pull it out, get the big brush, tap it in like that. Still got a little bit of that linseed oil and a little bit of that titanium white on there, so we're not too fussed about that. There's very little on the canvas, just a nice even distribution. Now let's hit the canvas with this colour. Okay, with that little bit of blue and white mixed, I'm going to start up in the top corner, and just like so, just put in a little bit of colour just up here in the sky. Don't want much colour, just a little bit, just to tint the canvas all the way across the top. I like it darker at the top and lighter towards the horizon, as possibly every landscape artist does. All right, we're going to have the tower around about there, I think. Around about there. So that's his guideline. That's his sketch. Okay. Right. So we can put some of this in. Very little paint on the brush. Very little paint. A little goes a long, long way. All right. Just tease this together like so. We are going to put a few clouds up here. Not many, but a few. Just enough to separate and give the sky a little bit of something that it needs. All right, see, there's virtually nothing coming off the paintbrush now. Just dive into a little bit of the darker sky colour. It's only a couple of degrees darker, but I do want to really just take a couple of these strokes up into the corner just to encase the composition. Might just leave that one as it is. Of course, we keep stepping back to give ourselves a little bit of a look, see if it's right or wrong. Okay, like so, and there we have it. And then just tease that out there, and then we can blend this. Let's just chuck that down. Let's grab another brush, and we can blend. Make sure it's dry, and just really push the paint around. Okay, a lot of paint there, a lot of paint, so we can move it, okay, bring that down. Even though you probably can't see it on the camera, there is a little bit of a light blue tint. So let's grab another brush, and what I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow and ochre and some white, and I'm just going to put a little bit of a glow down on the horizon line. It's a brand new brush, so it's going to probably kick out some hair like that one. And I'm going to go over where the Leaning Tower of Pisa is, just like that. And then of course we don't want to have it just straight and flat, so we're going to feather that up just like that. Pretend that the tower's not there. Pretend that the Leaning Tower of Pisa is not there just yet. Okay, like so. Right, I'm going to grab a little bit of that darker colour. It's got a little bit of red in that. I have to think about it then. Okay, I'm just going to tease some of this colour in. Use different strokes. There. Love the colours, the blues and the yellows. Of course, we don't want a green sky, so we're going to be very, very careful. Careful is my middle name. Sometimes. Okay, right. I've just taken a little bit of that grey colour, and right where the linseed oil finishes, I've just tapped it in, just there. I'm going to come all the way across like that. Now this is not landscape, this is still the sky, but I just want a little bit of a dark, shadowy, cloudy colour right far back in the distance. And because there's very little paint, very, very little paint there, we can really blend these together, so it's very, very smooth, very smooth. Okay, just all the way across there like that. We haven't lost where his tower's going to be. Okay, there might not be that angle, it will fall over at that angle, but we can work on that, can't we, in a bit. Okay, so just bring that up, maybe a little bit more there, maybe tap a little bit more in just at the corner, just to keep your eye in the composition. It's not floating off. Okay, right there. See, I've lost a bristle already there, and they do go into, every artist does lose paint bristles. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it. In fact, I've seen it on some of the greats. All right, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, there we go. Right, and the same at this side there as well. Just grey that yellow off before it goes green. Right, all the way across the top there. We want to put a few clouds into this sky now, and you can see where some of the far clouds are with just the stronger colours that we put on there. It's the same colour, just a thicker amount of it. Okay, there, like so. Right, so I'm just going to grab some of that grey and grab a little bit of that purple. Same brush. I'm going to put some shadowy colours in first. Okay, same big brush. Okay, in fact, it's a 1.5 inch. I think it's a Raphael paintbrush, this one. Okay, brand new. Right, so where is this cloud's going to be? Okay, so these are the shadows, so the highlight will be coming up. So this is the shadow side. So just push this in, move it about like that. Of course, it'll mix with the blue that's on there as well in various stages. Right, how big do you want that cloud? I want it about that big. Don't want it much more than that at this moment in time. Of course, we can grow it if we need to. It might be a little bit tricky to shrink it. Okay, I want another one right up there as well. Just push that about in there. Like that, goes off the canvas onto the easel. Right, there we go. And of course, we want a couple more just round about here as well. Shadowing him out. Right, smaller strokes as we get closer to the horizon, and bigger as we get up to the top. Okay, I've just dipped a little bit of white and yellow on the brush, and I'm just going to gently put my teeth back in. So I've just got a little bit of white and yellow on the brush, and I'm just going to push in a little bit of highlight on these clouds, just like so. I hope you can see that. Just there. The highlight will be on the underside of the clouds this time, and darker as we come away from the light source, if that makes sense. Yellow and white, just a very little bit of yellow and white on the corner of the brush, and we'll put a little bit of highlight on the underside of the clouds. Remember, the underside of the clouds is highlighted due to the sun being down here somewhere rather than above, just like that. And then we'll hit this top line here with a blender brush and tease it all together. There we go. Right where the light's striking, I'm just putting a little bit of thin yellow and white mixed. Just there. Look at the gap there and the gap there as well. You don't want a continuous line. Just a little bit of something like that. I'm not going to do it on all the cloud either. Just where the light would really zing and hit. And once you've got it on in place, you can take your blender brush and just very gently, hardly any pressure, just merge it together. Just tease it. Just take out the initial brush strokes, just like that. There, like so. Okay, the sky is pretty much done now. So I don't know if I showed you this. Probably I did. I don't know if I can remember if I did or not. Okay, so I have got the tower there. It's a little statue I bought from a little gift shop. And where we went, you can see I'm rubbing out some of the oil on the canvas. And the cathedral is at this side. So we might put a little building there. though it's not little. Okay, around about here, there was like restaurants and gift shops and things like that. And I bought this, and also about 70 fridge magnets as well. Okay, that's going to go by the side of my pond really when we'll finish doing this composition. Anyway, the Leaning Tower, it was built in, I think it's 12th century. There's some notice boards all about, and as I'm just removing this paint and the oil and everything off there, it was built in the 12th century out of marble and white stone, and basically it was on unfirm footings, on foundations, so it started to creep over, and by the 14th century it was over by about 5.5 degrees, which is very, very visible. I think about 25 years ago they started to try and chock it up and stop it from tippling over even more, and now I think it stands at about 3 to 4 degrees, which is still really, really, you can see it. It's the instant thing that hits you. It's a beautiful cathedral, and it's the bell tower. Okay, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is the bell tower of Pisa Cathedral. Okay, so we'll come on to the cathedral. That's not the star of the show, and we'll put some stuff down here as well. What I've got is a little bit of thin. Well, it's not thin. It's white and a creamy colour, and I'm just gonna coat this in. I don't know if you can see that on the camera there, but it is not white. It's got a little touch of yellow ochre in there, and the teeniest amount of red, cad red. Okay, because with the sunlight and everything, you are going to get a little bit of a reflected light. So it's not going to be white though. In real life, it's made out of white marble. Okay, so we'll just put something in there like that, and we'll try and get them as straight as we possibly can. So I may have to take a step back. Now I don't know if this is actually 5.5 degrees or 4 degrees or something like that. We're just going whatever it looks right. Okay, remember, this is our composition. We can paint anything we want really, can't we? Okay, so I'm just going to get this in, and then we can start putting the structures on there. I'm just putting a little bit of detail right at the top of the Leaning Tower there. Just a little bit of colour. Okay. I am having to wear my glasses because my nose is practically touching the canvas. But I can't see my reference photograph. I'm just going off my phone there. That's me. That's the tower right in the background. Look at the sky, completely different. But you know, so I have to tip my head down to see the photograph, and then put the glasses back on to get close. Anyway, what I've done, let me get rid of the glasses for the moment, is I've separated the tower into the ribs, okay, or the cross sections or anything, and we're going to start putting the detail on there now. I've got a really small little it's like I think it's an acrylic brush, but it works well for these kind of buildings. If you're familiar to the paintings that I've done in the past, I have painted a fair few buildings, usually cathedrals and stuff like that. So I'm just going to use this just to layer on some paint, because it's soft, because it's an acrylic brush. We can get like a nice delicate blendy effect, as well as putting some paintwork actually down on the canvas. There we go. Right, better put the glasses on before I go buzz-eyed. Right, there we go. I'm just layering on a little bit of shadow that will be underneath the marble, you know, plinths, uprights, whatever they're called. I should know, shouldn't I, really? But you know, some of the marble work that's away from the shadow side of the building. Okay, just like that. And this is just a little bit of, and it's only is a little bit of blue and white and brown thrown into there as well to grey that blue off. There we go, a little bit there. Less so in the top because of the sunlight will get the top, but it will have some. It will have some shadow. So again, you can blend this because it's a very soft, delicate brush. Just there, like that. We'll put some there like that. You can start with a little dark colour. You see, I've gone up there as well. Just a little dark colour, and the size and the shape of this brush make it absolutely perfect. Keep loading the brush. You only want a little tiny paint, and we're going to put the dark shadows just there like that, and then gently pull down, but go in the direction of the tower. Don't come straight down. Okay, go in the direction that the tower's going, and then that way we'll get a nice little shadow like so, like that. There we go. So I'm just adding a little bit of yellows to the tower, just in certain points, to tie it all in. See, I've added the cathedral there very loosely. I just want it to remain nice and loose for the moment. And I've also put a few hills down in the background, and you can still see the darker clouds down at the horizon. Put my teeth back in. But yeah, I just want to put a little bit of yellow just to tie it all in, keep all the tones roughly the same as we go down. So this is just a very thin yellow and white mix, yellow ochre and a lot of white. Okay, just do that, and you can see I just started off putting a little bit of grass work down there, just to lay it out. Really, it's obviously not finalized or anything like that just yet, but we'll put a few dots of this stuff. Careful not to mix it with the blue, or we'll get a green tower. We certainly don't want that. There we go, just to key it all in. And you can see I probably should mention this, that I've repainted a little bit up here as well, and added a little flag. But there we go, not too bad, not too bad. Right, I think we may be ready just to start off adding a little bit of grass work. I think a little bit of landscaping, and boy, I'm ready for a bit of landscaping. So what I'm doing, folks, just here is I've put in a little bit of linseed oil and titanium white, just like we did do up in the sky, just right there. And you can see I've put a path either side, or a sidewalk, okay, either side, and then the road will go in the middle. Only a little narrow road. All right, so a little bit of white and linseed oil on there, just so we can blend a little bit of colour when we put it down. Okay, that'll go right the way back there. Just want to be careful not to pick up too much yellow. Okay, some greys. So we'll start off with a bit of grey. Okay, and this is kind of a grey that I use for the shadow work on the tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So we'll just pop that in. I want the path to be a slightly lighter colour than the paths, these things at the sidewalks, okay, than the road itself. I'll pick a little bit of blue and red into that. Makes a nice purpley kind of grey colour. And we'll shove that in there, like so. Tease it across, then maybe take it back. Okay, now you can make the road eroded away like this, or you can make a bump in the middle, or just straight and flat. We'll just see how the brushes take it today. Just tease that together. I don't want any of the grain of the canvas to show white, okay, but we have coated it in white paint anyway, so if it does, it's because it's already been pre-painted. All right, there's no gesso showing through on this composition. Little dark colour just down there, just to set the sidewalks or the path in place, just so you know there's a clear step. Okay, and then we can work a little bit of magic on this, so a little bit of dark colour. Loads on to start with. You've got to have a lot of work to do to try and move it about and push it about. And I think these colours work quite well. So yellow and blue are opposite each other on the spectrum, on the colour wheel, shall we say. And then we've got a bit of purple in the sky that will be directly opposite the yellows and the greens, so all the greens. So that'll all tie in. I think it's going to be a nice, when it's finished and all this white's painted over, it's going to be a nice composition. See, it was saturated right at the end there, but there we go. Let's just work on this path a little bit. We don't care where this goes, because we're going to obviously put some greenery down, and maybe a couple of, I'm thinking now, the one thing that I was very surprised in Italy not to see any palm trees, because in the same like latitude of like southern France that I've been to, and Spain I've been to many times, there's plenty of palm trees. These are more like cypress trees and olive trees, lots of olive trees. So I think we'll have a couple of olive trees, just a small, you know, keep it in perspective. Maybe a couple at this side, just to tie it all together. So a little bit of yellow, no oil on there, no oil mixed into the colours either. So I'm just going to coat all the white parts of the canvas with this really firm filbert brush with some yellow. This is chrome yellow, and every now and again, like you can see down there, pick up a little bit of yellow ochre, and we just push that in as well. I'm going to try and put a thin film of paint on, but it's not thin paint, okay, and then we can just darken the corners off and come back and tinker with this grass, because we don't want yellow grass, do we? It looks all burnt and stuff. And from what I remember, the grass that was around the tower was absolutely beautifully green. But we're not going to have it massively green because of the style of the composition. So I've got some cypress trees just here, but I want like an olive tree there, and I might put a little one there as well. So a little bit of green on the brush, and I'm just going to paint just some leaves. Okay, I'll put the branches in once I've got most of the leaves in place. Now this is like a light greeny colour. Okay, not bright light like we've got really vivid light down here. We may have to whiten that off a little bit more at some point, the grasses, but I just want a little bit of olive growth there. I think we'll have a branch coming down here, so just a few like this, fill in an area nice and loose, and then we'll change the flavour of the paint at some point. A bit up there, and in fact we'll just darken that off a little bit with a bit more sap green. Of course, the light source is in the middle, so we want to highlight the outer edges and darken the inner, highlight the inner edges and darken off these outer edges. May have to go over these trees as well, but that happens. Okay, down here as well, and then we'll put another. I want some more just dotting in there. Well, That looks stronger against that green, doesn't it? A bit too much paint there, or not enough. I don't know. We'll have something there like so. Twigs and grasses right down in the foreground, just here and there, and we have a lovely finished painting. I've really enjoyed painting the Leaning Tower of Pisa. If you've been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, let me know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this painting, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you've not done so already, and until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, ciao.